Today we're going to be talking about what makes a Division I wide receiver. We're going to talk about what college coaches are looking for in a Division I wide receiver, the average height and weight, and some things that you could do to improve on those aspects. Now, as a wide receiver, what gets you recruited is your huddle highlight tape, the highlights that you make playing varsity football. A lot of people think freshman film, JV film, 7-on-7 film matters. It really doesn't. All those things are great. It's no shame in playing freshman or JV ball, but college coaches want to see what you can do at the highest level of high school football, which is ultimately varsity football. So what types of plays should wide receivers have on there? What are these D1 level coaches, these Power 5 coaches looking for in receivers? And honestly, guys, first one that comes to mind is speed. We're obviously going to give you things to work on these elements in a second here, but your speed, I'm not just going to tell you be fast and not tell you how to get fast. So we're going to talk about some things that you could do, but your speed is super important. And then explosive plays. You want to be an explosive playmaker on film. So what are explosive plays? You don't want to be that receiver that can only make routine plays, right? You catching a wide open post route over the middle, DB fell down, blown coverage, whatever, and you just pretty much walk into the end zone. That's not a highlight. A highlight is you catching a ball and then making somebody miss, breaking a tackle, getting yards after the catch, running an explosive route, blocking somebody, putting somebody into the ground, driving them to the sideline. All of those are explosive plays and showcase that you are an explosive playmaker. Now, that's another reason why I recommend receivers play multiple positions on the field. Don't just be that guy that can only play receiver and that's it. Play special teams, return punts, return kicks, play defense if you can. If you're in a run-heavy offense, try to get some reps in at running back. Showcase your athleticism. The highest recruited athletes every single year are always labeled as athletes, not just as wide receivers. And then last but not least, they want to see explosive catches. They don't want to see wide open catches. They want to see a jump ball. They want to see you win just a 50-50 ball. They want to see a diving catch. They want to see a catch in traffic while you're getting hit. Because those are plays that the thousands of receivers across the country cannot make. Now, before we get into how you can work on your speed, your route running, your yards after the catch, your hands, fellas, if you're a receiver and you would like to train with myself and my staff of coaches this offseason, we're coming out to 15 different cities and states for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. The first 2 cities, or the first 2 camps that we had, we've already completed them. We went to San Francisco and then Miami, Florida, but next we'll be coming out to Las Vegas, Nevada, Charlotte, North Carolina, Portland, Oregon, Dallas, Texas, Nashville, Tennessee, Chicago, Illinois, Buffalo, New York, Atlanta, Georgia, Houston, Texas, Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, Detroit, Michigan, Boise, Idaho, and Los Angeles, California. So guys, if you're local to one of those cities or would like to travel in, check out that very first link in the description where you can get all the information and how you can sign up to work with us. So again, very first link in that description below. Let's get back to this video. Now, how can you work on your speed and making explosive plays to stand out to a Division I level college coach? Now, when it comes to speed, there's 3 things that I think you should focus on. Number 1, that is training explosively in the gym. As football players, you do not want to train like a bodybuilder. You want to train like an athlete, right? So you want to be doing explosive movements in the gym that activate something called your fast twitch muscle fibers, right? So every athlete has 2 types of fibers. They have slow twitch fibers and fast twitch fibers. Fast twitch fibers are from exerting all-out effort in your exercises that you do, whether that's on the field or whether that's in the gym, right? So let's say, for example, it's an exercise like a power clean, right? So you shouldn't be doing power cleans, just kind of like going through the motions, doing 10 to 12 reps. That's working on slow twitch fibers. Even with an explosive exercise, you want to be staying in a 3 to 6 rep range and trying to move weight as fast, as explosive as possible, exerting all-out effort. So that's the first thing. Second thing, training with resistance. You guys running up hills, running up stadiums, running with a sled, running with bands, all of those things can help you get faster. And then last but not least, your running mechanics. I highly recommend every single athlete should invest in a speed coach or going to some type of speed training facility where people can work on your running mechanics, give you different plyometric drills, work on your foot strike, your lower body mobility, all those things that will translate into speed. Because guys, as a receiver, you cannot be slow. At the next level, you're going to be going, especially at Division I level, the whole purpose of this video, you're going to be going up against DBs who are insanely fast, the best athletes on their team. They were the best athletes on their high school team. If you don't have speed, you're not going to be able to compete. So doing those things and taking care of that business in the offseason will directly help you during the 11-on-11 season. Now, like we discussed, obviously on film, college coaches are going to be looking for speed, you making explosive plays, getting yards after the catch, but they're also looking for receivers who can run great routes and obviously who have great hands. So what can you do to work on those elements of your game? So let's start with route running. Route running, I think you train, like you get better at running routes by training like game realistic routes, right? And game realistic drills. I think the wide receiver position is flooded with a lot of pointless footwork drills. You're doing the obstacle course, you're hopping over stuff, you're doing quick feet, whatever. That's total waste of time. When do you ever move that much during a route? When are you actually ever doing those specific exercises during a route? You're probably not, right? So you want to put yourself in game realistic situations. And on our channel, we have literally thousands of videos talking about different drills you can do, different techniques you should emphasize, how you can work on techniques. So if you go to our wide receiver playlist, you have all the stuff that you need, all the information that you need there to help yourself improve and give you game realistic drills. Now for your hands, what can you do? Let's say you don't have a quarterback to throw to you all the time. Because the best way to improve your hands is by working on your hands, by catching from a quarterback. But let's say you don't have that. Working on your hand-eye coordination with different tennis ball drills. We have tons of those on this channel as well. Guys, literally everything you need is probably on this channel. And another thing is working on your grip strength. So doing different exercises like fingertip push-ups, farmer's carry, you're holding 2 heavy dumbbells and you're walking. Anything to improve your hand strength is going to help you with those tough catches like a diving catch, catch in traffic, jump ball where you're trying to rip it from a guy, which will all translate to those plays that we need to make on film to stand out. Now, like we mentioned in the start of this video, we're gonna talk about the height and weight needed to play wide receiver at the Division I level. Now, height, we're gonna start with height and then we'll get to weight. Height is not something that I necessarily think you should worry about because you cannot control it. You have so many other things that you can control and that is in your control as a wide receiver. Your route running, your hands, explosive plays, your speed. Height is not one of those things. You're either gonna be tall or you're gonna be short. Fact of the matter what it is completely genetic, and maybe sleeping more will help you speed up that process because you grow when you sleep. But at the end of the day, you can't really control that. You're either gonna be tall, you're gonna be short. So I don't think you should worry about it. Now, if you desperately want to know how tall you need to be at the Division I level, there are tons of height ranges, and how I figured out this info was you just simply go to ESPN. Let's say you wanna go to Alabama. Let's say that's your dream school, and you wanna know if you're tall enough when it comes to their receivers. Go to ESPN, type in Alabama football roster, and it will list the exact height and the exact weight for every single wide receiver on their roster. Now, those heights and weights range from 5'9" all the way up to like 6'5". So there's a big height range, right? There's a big height range that you could be in. If you're on the undersized side of things, let's say you're 5'8", 5'9", it's still definitely possible, but you're probably gonna have to play slot receiver. You're not gonna be on the outside going up against DBs who are 6'1", 6'2" at 5'9". But that doesn't mean you can't play out of the slot. That's the great thing about the receiver position. There are 4 spots on the field, so don't worry about your height. Your height is not something that you can control, but that's what I would say. If you have a school in mind that you would like to attend, just look that up on ESPN, and all the information will be right there for you to see. Now, when it comes to your weight, kind of the same idea, right? Weight is something that you can control, I feel, a little bit more so, obviously more so than your height, but if you are so desperate to know how big you need to be, how much you need to weigh to go to a specific school, you could use that same ESPN format that we just talked about, right? Go to ESPN.com, type in, Michigan football roster, and all their stats will be listed, and that's how big their guys are currently. Now, do they lie on that? Probably. It's probably not accurate information. The most accurate information is what you see at the NFL Combine, is that's like a legitimate height and weight process, right? Now, when it comes to your weight, a lot of it depends on your height. If you're 5'9", you probably can't be 140 pounds to be able to play at the next level, I would say, or at least to stand out. Now, with that being said, if you're undersized, if you're skinny, the good news is college coaches are not recruiting bodybuilders. They're recruiting the best receivers possible, right? So if I'm recruiting a receiver, I want the best receiver. I want the stuff that I can't help him with. I want the stuff like route running, hands, explosive plays, making people miss, speed. That's not stuff that they're gonna work on with you when you get to college. Now, they're obviously gonna, if you have a talented receiver coach, they're gonna work on certain aspects of the game. But guys, at the end of the day, they will put weight on you when you get to college. That's one of their primary jobs. Like every single Division I level college has probably an insane weightlifting program, an insane meal plan that they will put you on. So if their thought process is, well, he's 165 pounds, but he's the best receiver in the country, I still want him, and his weight really doesn't matter. So at the end of the day, your skills is what matters, not how much you weigh, because we get a ton of questions about that, but I wouldn't worry too much about it. You want to be as heavy as possible, but still be as low body fat percentage and as athletic as possible. And if you could do that, a college coach will love that, and if he needs to put weight on you, they will put weight on you. Don't worry about it. Now, I'm not saying neglect your weight. If you need to get bigger, that can only help you, right? Because that's one less thing that they have to help you improve on. But at the end of the day, your skills speak for itself. Height and weight, they kind of matter, but they also kind of don't matter. Focus on your skills and those things we mentioned to put on your huddle highlight tape towards the beginning of this video.